What up, everybody? It's your boy CG, back at you guys again with some more cryptocurrency news and information. Before I get into the topic of today's video, if you guys could do me a great favor, hit that like button, share and subscribe to videos too if you can. It's the easiest way to show support and it brings more awareness to the channel and it takes less than a second. Now, going into today's topic, the topic of the video is actually me having come into contact with somebody playing devil's advocate and also kind of put me in the shoes of that person and thinking, would a $1 million Bitcoin actually be something to be happy about, or could it mean that a lot of people's livelihoods are going to end depending on how they've been positioning themselves over the years. And at the end of the day, I do always preach self accountability. You are responsible for your own future. But, I also want to look at the opposite side of things for people who aren't technologically versed in the ways that the economy or the financial system is evolving, especially when it comes to fintech, financial technology. Now, the article writer, Mr. Nick Chong, actually had his own perspective on what may take place with a $1 million Bitcoin. And I saw his perspective and I understood it a lot. A $1 million Bitcoin, depending on the timeline of it, whether it's something that's hyper induced, as in it's induced at an extremely fast pace, like we could see a $1 million Bitcoin next year or the next 2-3 years, that would actually mean the complete destruction of the traditional financial system, finance alpha. And in the destruction of the system, yes, a new system will be born, and the people who are preparing for it would definitely be way ahead of the others, maybe millionaires, whatever it may be, like just whatever you could take from it being prepared, you're going to take from it. But the people who are left in the traditional financial system, who aren't really well versed in these things, and they don't see it coming, and they're kind of complacent with what's going on in their lives, they may go up in smoke with everything. I don't know if anybody else has seen that movie, The Big Short. While the movie was about somebody being extremely insightful and using his foresight or prescience to see what was coming as far as the market tanking in 2008 and him shorting the stock market when the big crash happened, there was a big moral factor that came into play because some of them were looking at it. Well, not some, I think it was one or two people were looking at it like, well, yeah, we can make a shit ton of money from this, but there are about to be people whose entire lives are about to be changed because of this. Their livelihoods are about to be cut short, if not cut in half, if not anything else. And there's just, oh, you always have to look at it from that perspective. Not everybody has the same type of information that you have, or even has access to that same type of information that you have, or even is capable of comprehending that same type of information that you have. And yeah, at the end of the day, you can't say, well, it's on them, it's their fault, they should be the ones trying to always understand what's coming or what's next. Yeah, but after so many years of, things being the same, you kind of get caught up and a little bit complacent. I can understand that a lot of people aren't even aware of what's going on. And there are people who know about crypto, but they don't look at crypto like how we may be looking at crypto. They look at it like how a person would view forex, or a person may be viewing stocks. They view it as just a money making mechanism to trade up and down. They're not viewing it as, this might really be the future. This may really be the introduction of the new financial system that we're transitioning into. Now, if there is a $1 million Bitcoin coming, I will much prefer it happening at a slow and steady pace, maybe over the next 10 to 20 years, like being introduced like that, as far as the price hops or the price skips, simply because, in my opinion, the transition would be a lot smoother. More people would be able to adjust accordingly at a much better way than they would have if it was just kind of hyper induced. And then people would be just kind of left holding bags and they wouldn't know what to do anymore. We would see a mass increase in homelessness, a mass increase of crime. We would see a lot of things going completely wrong. And while we may be on the opposite side of that, people who are preparing, we are seeing this in the bigger institutions. We should also be taking the free time that we have when we're around our family and loved ones and people we don't want to see come under any type of fire from these changes that may be happening, well, not maybe, that are happening and are taking place. You should take this time and educate them, let them know what's going on, like, let them know about what's happening as we speak, like the future, how to understand these things. Start putting some of your money into these things so that you're not left being a bag holder, you're not left in the dust when things just change, because we don't know how the change is going to happen. We know it's happening, but we just don't know how quick it can happen. It could happen in a year or 2 years. You never know. Especially after this whole corona pandemic, and we've been shown that everything is changing, and it's considering the fact that I believe that we are going to be coming under a whole new type of, how can I put this, control or leadership. Like a lot of people would say new world order or the powers that be, whatever you want to call it. I do believe that there's going to be a gigantic change in the way that the world and the economy is run. We don't know exactly how yet. We don't really comprehend all the changes that are coming, but we do know it's coming and we are watching it happen. The next article I was actually looking at actually touches on this kind of. I was just stating that we have a lot of these institutions that see these things and are preparing for these things. So this crypto firm, Metropolitan Commercial Bank, well, not a crypto firm, it's a bank that is actually crypto friendly, so cryptocurrency companies can deal with them. Actually saw an increase in this quarter, the Corona quarter, of cryptocurrency deposits, whereas its rival, Silvergate Bank, right here, had a deposit worth in around $1.2 billion in Q4 of 2019. And another bank, Signature Bank in New York, all these are crypto friendly, saw a $1 billion rise in non-interest bearing deposits. Non-interest bearing deposits can apply to cryptocurrency since they are. So normally we can apply this to maybe some, maybe most. It just depends. But seeing these things taking place and these deposits happening, seeing these big institutions and firms moving into this space, we understand that they are looking at the future. They have their own circles that probably have far more information than we have. So the fact that we're seeing all these big pushes into the space should give us the motivation to also push ourselves forward into this new area of finance. And I really feel bad for a lot of the people who don't have access to this type of information. That's why, whether you listen to me or not, whoever you listen to, you guys should really take the time out to educate the people that you love, the people around you, about these changes that are going to be taking place, so that they're not left holding the bag and they're not left carrying the burden of the previous financial system. But yeah, everybody, this has been your boy CG. I'm out. Have a great day. Stay safe. Peace.